So this morning I startled little deer. I was gonna say she, but that looks like he's got some little horns going. Oh my goodness. And so he was sitting on the sand pile and I startled him, and so I smoothed it out so that it would be flat and he could sit on it easier. And look at him, he's so adorable. Little boy deer. And this whole time I've been thinking he's a she. But of course, I don't know. I don't know from one deer to the other deer. Okay, little buddy, you know what's so funny? I had an apple with a rotten spot and I cut it out and I was just gonna leave it down here. I do not like to feed the wild animals, but occasionally if I have a bad apple, I do. I'm so bad. All right, sweetie, I've gotta come through here. I've gotta come through the gate, okay? Alrighty. I left you an apple. I left you an apple over there by the potatoes. Hi, little buddy. You're so good. Hey, sweetie. Did you see the apple that I put over there for you? You're like, what is that thing you're holding in your hand, huh? Hi, silly. I didn't know you were a boy deer this whole time. Or maybe you're a totally different deer. But I don't think so. I think you're my little deer. Did you find the apple? Did you see the apple over there? I put the apple right over there. Little deer knows about apples. I sometimes give them apple treats. Hey everybody! So it is Thursday morning, almost 8:30, and I'm out here in the greenhouse cutting lettuce. I'm cutting lettuce here first because it's supposed to, the sun's kind of poking out, so I want to get stuff in here done before it gets too warm. I did this last year in the greenhouse because I was thinking, oh, I'll do this, I'll treat it like it's like a kale or anything like that and just cut the outsides and see how, you know, and it seems to grow back better than when you just kind of cut everything, including the little stuff in the center. So far I've been just selling to one person, and last week I started selling to a little restaurant. You know, just a small order. It's just 3 pounds of lettuce mix. And so, because I don't have enough refrigeration space right now, I'm going to do the salad mixes today. And then all I have is chard and kale right now out of the garden. So I'll probably do the harvesting for that tomorrow. The nighttime temperatures are now above 50 degrees. But darn it, last night I checked the temperature and it went all the way down to 46 degrees last night. But it's only for a short period during the night. So the plants aren't quite as like, oh, what's going on? So yeah, I've got about, I don't know, 15 customers that I'm delivering to this week, plus my number one customer and the restaurant. I need about 15 pounds of lettuce mix material, which I'm kind of doing like a 2-to-1, 2 pounds of lettuce to 1 pound of baby chard, and then just adding a little bit, you know, a couple of ounces of orach in. Okay, so I got the lettuce done. I'm gonna take this up to the fridge and then I'm gonna start working on the baby chard. Okay, so here is chest freezer converted to a refrigerator, and even before I've cut this lettuce out in the garden, I'm kind of topped off here. So I've got some space. I just need to kind of maybe move some things around. Okay, so I have more space in here now. So the stopgap measure for additional refrigeration is we ended up buying a second chest freezer we already have an additional temperature controller to throw in there and turn it into a refrigerator. So yeah, because I just need more space, and plus we have family coming up this summer, so it's crazy. So next week, hopefully I don't have to fiddle around to try and get extra room. Eventually downstairs we're gonna have a walk-in cooler. Hopefully we do that this winter for next season. It's about 65 or a little over Fahrenheit in the greenhouses and 55 out here. And kale and chard I'm gonna harvest tomorrow. But right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit this baby chard. I already harvested a couple days ago about 2.5 pounds because it was ready to get picked. And so it's ready again. So hopefully I'll get another 2.5 pounds because that'll get me about what I need. Baby chard bed. Sparsely planted because the Jang didn't do the best job in the whole world, but I've got a hand-seeded batch of baby chard coming in over there. Okay, so I've got the baby chard trimmed up and a tote full. And next up will be cutting the lettuces. All right, so I harvested 8 pounds of lettuce out of the greenhouse. I only need 10 pounds, so that means all I need is 2 more pounds of lettuce. And I've got this whole bed of lettuce that is just beyond ready to harvest. So the thing about it is that chainsaw going. I probably need a full bed of chard for a full bed of lettuce to make the mixture right. I guess in some ways it's just as well because I don't have my greens bubbler and stuff set up. That's not going to be ready until earliest next week. So I'm having to, you know, I just don't have the space. Okay, so I started cutting, you know, the outer leaves here. And what I realized is the outside lettuce has splashback from the soil. I forgot, you know, from last year. So the outer leaves are really dirty. It's nice to be able to kind of just grab the centers like this and then just cut. And it just works better this way out here. What was supposed to happen is that my basil was supposed to go into the second bed in the greenhouse where the lettuce is right now that I harvested this morning. But because, you know, the basil in the first bed was hardly growing and it's only just now kind of starting to grow, I seeded that second succession of basil later, and it's still, you know, it's up at the house just now germinating. So otherwise that lettuce wouldn't be available. I would have already pulled it out and I would have to be relying on this lettuce. So I cut 12 heads of the green and 12 heads of the red, and I'm sure I've got probably at least 2 pounds in there. If I need more, I can always come down and get some. I don't know why I feel so bummed about it, you know, because it's like so much stuff, but you know, like, anyway. So this stuff that I got out of the garden is way nicer than the stuff in the greenhouse. I mean, as far as like the leaf is shorter, you know, so it's nice little baby leaf, and the red is a lot deeper color. So I wish that I had just harvested everything out of the garden today, but whatever. So here's something interesting. This is the wash station setup that Tyler is putting together, which is going to be beyond Magnum. Okay, so this is my setup for this year. I did a video on this last year at 21 inches by 16 inches. That's my sink. And then I got my little orange spinner fellow. I just finished putting this together for the restaurant, and just made me think, you know, even if I wanted to keep this excess stuff that I got from the greenhouse, I don't have room in my refrigerator. This stuff, I started with the stuff out in the garden, and it does look a lot nicer than the stuff in the greenhouse. It seems like the heat makes the red kind of like a lighter red. I noticed that even these fellows underneath this row cover kind of is a lighter red. So I'm going to go ahead, take the time to harvest this stuff and process it. But then I think I'm just gonna go ahead and compost the stuff that I got from the greenhouse, because actually it doesn't exist. It should be basil in there right now. Okay, watch as I goofball up my program. Oy. This is my compost bin. I ended up cutting about half the red leaf. There's a little bit more red leaf planted than green leaf, and quite a bit of green leaf. I only really hit one row here. And so, you know, because the green is a lot more fluffier. There's a lot more leaf on there. So I would need to at least sell double the amount of bags of lettuce mix for one bed. If I wanted to cut one whole bed, you know, the 1 week, and then move on to the next bed of lettuce and cut that, and then cut the next one the next week, you know, and then come back when this had regrown and cut this. That was the original plan. And so yeah, I'm almost sure that I could sell. I've got 22 bags right now, and I could probably sell double that, I think. So I don't know if the planting was set up wrong, but I certainly have got my mixture wrong. I need more baby chard. Grow, baby chard, grow. So I've got the bags of lettuce mix stashed in this box here. There's 12 in this box, 12 in this box, for a total of 24. And I've got the lettuce mix for the restaurant, the 3 pounds right there. And that leaves me a little bit of room there to stash some chard and kale that I need to harvest. Okay, so I'm out here in the garden. I need to harvest some kale and chard and some other things for my #1 customer, plus a couple of other people that need their stuff by noon. Most people I'm going to be able to deliver to 4 to 5 this afternoon. But a couple people need stuff earlier, so I'm going to grab kale and chard first. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm really embarrassed because when I used to have my little tiny produce and grocery store, I used to take my excess stuff. There were a couple places, but one of them was the senior center in town, and I totally forgot about it because, you know, that's not, yeah, that would be a perfect place for that lettuce that I just composted. But I just chatted with them and they said, yeah, go ahead and bring it down. So next time I have excess, which maybe I'll even cut some for them specifically, I'm gonna bring it over here. So right, so I did my noon drop off and I have an empty box here. I've got more space in the fridge. I'm gonna harvest some kale and chard. So I don't know what this video is gonna be about. Probably me just running around like a crazy person. And okay, so I've harvested 5 chard here. I already sold 1, so that is 6 that I harvested already. I did a quick count and I think I probably could have gotten 10 more bunches. So I could have sold 16 bunches out of this. It's almost a 40-foot bed, but I've got some parsley in the back there that's going to seed, which let's just say a nice round 15 could have come out of this bed. Pretty. I harvested 4 kale this morning, 7 kale, that's 11. I went and did a quick count and I figure I could have gotten a total of 20 out of this bed. I'm kind of like in a daze. I'm gonna regroup and I'll have this all figured out next week. And hopefully I'll be able to show you guys the wash station with the greens bubbler and an additional cooler. See you next week. There's little buddy. He's right there. Eating something. I wish I could get closer. I think he's eating a mushroom. You guys. Does that look like a mushroom to you? He ended up dropping some of it. It was probably my fault too. Oh, you know what it is? It's something from my compost bin. It's like a piece of apple from my compost bin. What a little hog. That noise you hear over there, that's Tyler working on the sink.